Hello and welcome back to this edition of Daily Actives brought to you by Bootleg Macro. I am Dustin. This is the show where we look at the most active stocks on Yahoo Finance. We just got done with a barn burner of a one with Nvidia. Now we're going to be looking at Mara, which I'm sure has made some millionaires and ruined some lives, but I'm sure that people are here because it's just time to pop. Now, if we look at what Mara has been doing, it actually has quite a remarkable run over the past couple of days. I actually really like to see when it's up over 16% over the past 5 days. That's actually crazy. Actually, over the past 5 days, over the past 15 days, this thing is up 44%. It's bonkers because when you look at the kind of movements that we're seeing in the performance, you can see it's switching between like highs, lows, and everything between. And then when you look at the chart, you can just see that chop, which makes perfect sense because the type of moves that we're seeing in Mara are really something that are probably related to not only just Bitcoin, Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin the market. So it's a lot of sentiment driven stuff. But when I think about when I would have wanted to buy Mara, I definitely would have wanted to buy it when it was in the green background with the black lettering. On my methodology and my market, that means that it's in the middle of its standard distribution range. Now, if we're looking at what the middle of the standard distribution range means, that's because we'd be looking at an actual trade range. So these days here, it's going to be on the 18th, and it's at $18 when it's going to be in the middle. You can see, boom, that's going to be when it's in the middle. Those were very bad days for people, but that was the day to buy. How did I know it was the day to buy? It's because it had green lettering with the black back or green background with the black lettering. That means it's in the middle of the standard distribution range. Now, when you get this red lettering with a black background, this means it's two standard deviations above its mean. And you can see that the thing I like about today that I'll give some credit to Mara is that today was based off of really big volume. We saw a big move yesterday was up nearly 14%, and today we saw it was up nearly 7%. Those are very big moves. Now, if we think about the actual trend or the signals, what I can see is we do have a go long in the short term, intermediate term, and longer term. Now, if we look at the trend, we are getting up this bearishness and we are definitely starting to flip into some of that bullishness. I like to see that. I imagine that this is going to be moving based off of where Bitcoin is going. We look for the signals. What I can say is that we have a mixed bag, as you'd expect when you get this kind of chop. You've got some key threes for the Bears, you got some key threes for the Bulls. The thing I'd say that I like the most is that we got this 1 month bull trigger. Now, people are like, well, this is based on Bitcoin. Of course, it's based on Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and look and see what's going on with Bitcoin. So for Bitcoin overall, what I would say is that Bitcoin, so this is the weekly. So you're going to see a massive move here. Obviously, when it comes to the 1 week change, this thing was up 18% over the end of last week. The data for Google Finance is pretty much shit, so it doesn't come in for the entire day. And we'll get it till the end of I won't get it till next week. But I do like to see that now we've got red lettering with the white background in Bitcoin on the weekly, which means it's three standard deviations above its mean. You can see here we got a massive breakout. If you want to know the best time to buy, I would say if you're looking back on the 15-month look back, when does Bitcoin go positive? Ooh, what did I break now? I'd say when it's on the 15-month look back and it starts to go positive, that's when you want to really pay attention. And or if you want to look at the 1 year, if you want to be even a little bit more discreet, you could definitely look at the 5 month rolling return. You would have gotten in on January 14th of 2023. You probably would have stayed in. You maybe would have gotten out here in the middle of September. You probably would have maybe gotten out here. But if you think about this being your entrance signal and then waiting for you to get a 1 year rolling return and wait till that's also positive, I would say you'd be good. But that's just me, just a random guy on YouTube who's showing you his model. Now, if we look at what's going on in Bitcoin specific, because I know this impacts Mara, and that's what we're really here to talk about. The big signal that we got here was going to be this go long on the 16th of October at 67,000. That was a great fucking signal. Now, I forget exactly how this one gets made, but I will just tell you that was a great signal. If we're looking at what we see for Bitcoin, I don't see any reason to think that this is going to stop anytime soon. The conditions are perfect, the market is perfect, and the price is perfect. If we're going to go ahead and look at the overall, the trade range here, what I like is that you essentially see this thing, and this is obviously to the end of just last week. We know that this thing is near $100,000 now. You saw that wiggle back and forth between March and between it looks like October of this year. The sideways action, the consolidation after a large gain, I really love to see. Huge fan of what I'm seeing. I imagine this is going to translate into Mara. Again, if we think about what's happening in Mara, the thing that's interesting though is that your volatility is pretty high, your correlation has gotten pretty high, so it will continue to rise most likely. So the price is going to be very jagged. What I'd like to see is a rollover. I'd like to see a rolling over of the volatility in Mara while we get a rollover in the correlation because that's going to make two negatives equaling a positive, which means we're pretty much going to get sideways to up action, but it'll be very, very slow and gradual. That is the type of move that I prefer to see inside of a stock just because that is what I prefer. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you long? Are you short? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is this even a good review? And before you go, subscribe to the New High newsletter. We send you 25 stocks to your inbox every single Sunday. Stocks breaking out between $5 and $20. Stocks breaking out to 1 year highs. Stocks breaking out to all-time highs. It was a great list to get your trading week started. I'll talk to you soon.